Hello everyone and welcome to Ben and Danielle Reviews. My name is Ben, and if this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for watching. On this channel we do unboxings, we do reviews, we talk about board games, comics, we talk about other things that we may be interested in. And if there's anything that you're interested in and you'd like to cover on the channel, let us know. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It's free to do and it helps us out a whole lot. We are getting really close to 500 subscribers, so that is really exciting. So thank you everyone for watching. I know that's not a lot for some people, but for us that's a whole lot. That's way more than we thought would ever be possible with this channel. So thank you very much for everyone that tunes in. Today I'm going to continue with my top 50. We're going to do numbers 20 through 11. So we're getting really close to the end here and still waiting for Danielle. She's supposed to do her top 10 at some point pretty soon here. And after this, I'll do my top 10 and then hopefully have some guests on, and then they'll do their like top 10 or top 20 games as well. So stay tuned for that. Without further ado, let's get on to my number 20. My number 20 is a game that I taught at the shop this week, actually. And that is The Isle of Cats by City of Games. And so this is a game in which you are rescuing cats. It's a card drafting game. You have your boat board and you have different polyomino shaped cat pieces, and you are just trying to Tetris them on the board as best as you can, filling up different rooms, completing different objectives, covering up rats and such, and trying to score the most amount of points based on different objectives, and creating families of cats of 3 or more of the same color touching each other. It's a really fun card drafting game. I played it with friends of mine, Linda and Hannah, and they both really enjoyed it. And one of them even bought the game themselves after playing this. Also played it with a coworker, joined in on this game, and he doesn't normally play games, but he gave it a try and he really enjoyed it as well. Isle of Cats, great card drafting game that was surprisingly accessible for as big of as this box is and as heavy as this is. I know I have the Late Arrivals expansion, which gives you 5 and 6 player boards, so it gives you 2 extra players for it. That's the main reason why I bought that expansion, but it all fit in this box pretty nicely. It's just really heavy. That is The Isle of Cats, a great polyomino game. Number 19 is a game by Lucky Duck Games. So this is the Chronicles of Crime. Chronicles of Crime is a app-based scenario game in which you are cooperatively solving a crime. So you have a mobile app that you'll be using. You'll be scanning QR codes and traveling to different places and trying to solve the crime or crimes that be in this game. This one right here is the 1400 one, which takes place in the year 1400. There's 1900. There is 2400. There's the base version, which takes place in London. There's Redview, which is like an Archie spinoff, like an Archie horror spinoff, like those comics that I really enjoy in the Archie horror universe. There is Chronicles of Crime Noir, which takes place in like the film noir sort of setting. This one's 1400. I just grabbed this one just because it's a smaller box, so it's less I have to carry and hold in front of a camera, but I enjoy all of them. I really like how you're able to take the app and like look around the crime scene, like VR. That's really fun. You get to investigate the crime scene. You can get to ask people about different things, and we have to work together to figure out who's lying, who's not, and you learn a lot during this game, and I find it to be really challenging. I'm not very good at it at all, so it's pretty hard for me, but I still really enjoy the immersive experience of it. It does tend to get a little long with some scenarios, so I don't know how long it'll stay in my top 50, but right now I really enjoy it. And the scenarios, there's a bunch of different scenarios and different expansions that you can buy that give you more scenarios. Number 18 is a game by Flat Out Games, and that is Cascadia. So Cascadia is a game in which you are building out basically the Cascade Mountain Range. You have different terrain, hexagon pieces that you're building up terrain to have like the largest terrain. You also have animals that you're going to be drafting as well with those pieces, and each piece has specific animals that can be placed on it, and you are trying to place those animals in a way to score points based on their own objectives, because there's 5 different animals in the game. There's bears, hawks, foxes, salmon, and elk, and all of them have different scoring objectives, and each game you're going to have different scoring objectives for each animal, and you are just trying to score the most amount of points. And it's just a nice little family weight tile drafting game that always goes over really well with new gamers. That is Cascadia. Number 17 is another tile drafting game that works well with new gamers and works well with experienced gamers as well, and that is Azul. Azul is a game in which you are taking these stained glass pieces and you are placing them in rows, trying to fill up your board and score the most amount of points possible. It usually takes place over 5 or 6 rounds, depending on how fast people fill up their rows. Most games I've played usually take about 5 rounds or so. It takes about 45 minutes, I would say, to play, but it's another one that I've had a lot of success teaching, and it's gone over really well. That is Azul. Oh yeah, there's also a Chocolatier Special Edition version. I personally think that the original version looks better, but I know a lot of people like that Chocolatier version. Number 16 is another tile drafting game, and that is Calico. In Calico, you are building up your quilt and trying to match colors to sew buttons on, and you are trying to match patterns to attract the of cats who want to lay on your board, on your quilt, and give you points that way. So you have goals within your quilt that you're trying to fulfill, and you have cats that you're trying to get that please, and you have buttons that you're trying to patch on to your quilt. This one is very puzzly, I guess, and also it's very restrictive in the way you're playing play it versus games like Cascadia, which are the more the game goes on, the more options you have for placing things. The longer this game goes, the more restrictive you are in where you're able to place things. But I do enjoy the puzzly aspect of it, and I also enjoy that aspect of maybe taking the tiles that your opponent might want before they're able to take them, and force them to take one that maybe would cause them to gain less points or not be able to fulfill their objectives. My number 15 is my highest rated and ranked Bruno Cathala game, and that is a beautiful underwater themed game called Abyss. This game is beautiful yet pretty creepy in the kind of characters that are in this game. There are underwater sort of bosses or lords that you are trying to recruit by getting different allied races cards, these little allied races cards, and you are going to be getting those cards in order to get these lords and recruit them to your side. And the lords that you recruit to your side are going to not only be worth points, but they're also going to be worth, be giving you certain powers that are pretty powerful. And then there's certain cards will have keys on them. Those keys will be turned in to get location cards, which will also have powerful effects and be worth points. This is a really cool design in this game in which you are able to do as much as you want, as long as you have the proper resources to do it. So you're managing not only your allies and your lords in front of you, but you're also going to be managing pearls, which are kind of like your currency in the game. Because whenever someone wants to try and take and explore the depths for more allies, they have to first offer up those allies to other players who can pay for them. And so the more pearls you have, the more opportunities you have to steal things that your opponent might want and leave them with the leftovers. And also the leftovers that no one takes are left at the council, where instead of exploring the depths on your turn, you can instead take as many of, or take all of one color ally from the council, and those will be yours. So they may not be worth as many points as like a 5 power ally, but you'll be having multiple, maybe like 3, 4, 5, or possibly more allies of the same color. So you also want to be careful like what you're not accepting and what you're not keeping for yourself, because that will be made available for your opponents. So I really enjoy this game. I think the design on this is so smooth, and it definitely teaches you how to manage your resources very well. And it's a game that's pretty easy to teach and pretty easy to understand too. So there's a lot of depth in such a simple game design, and I really appreciate that. Number 14 is kind of the opposite of that. Number 14 looks like a very adorable game on the surface, but is a big, massive, heavy wargaming experience, and that is called Root. Root is designed by Cole Wehrle and the team at Leader Games in St. Paul, Minnesota. It is a big war game with asymmetric player powers, where each one of the 4 factions in the game plays completely different from each other, has different abilities, different ways to play, and different winning ways to score points. And ultimately, you're trying to get points, 30 points to win the game, but each faction has a different way of scoring points and a different way they play out. So it is a very hard game to teach. It's probably one that I don't want to teach players. Usually the best way to learn this game is through the app. It is a bear to kind of just teach each individual faction to people that have never played. But if you do know how to play this game and able to get to play with people that do know this game, it is a great experience. I'm really bad at this game, but I definitely really do like the nature of this and the fact that you are playing with these cute little meeple characters, but you're playing a very heavy war game when doing so, and I like that a lot. That's Root. Number 13 is a game I don't have in front of me because I keep it at my job, just because it's one that I teach a ton of new players all the time, and that is Splendor. Splendor is a very design in which you are just managing all these resources you have in front of you and building up your engine of sorts. It has these nice like poker chip quality gems, and you are trading these gems in to get different establishments. Each establishment will help make your other ones cheaper, and you are racing to get to 15 points while also trying to attract the of lords to come visit you by having the right color establishments. You'll get those nobles to come visit you, but you're also just trying to build up your engine to try and make things that you have and things that you buy cheaper. I really enjoy that game. I used to think I was pretty good at that until I played with people that are actually good at this game, and I realized I'm not as good as I think I am. But it's still a really great game that a lot of people can understand. I've never had a problem with teaching this game. Never had anyone that didn't understand this game and catch on pretty quickly on the idea of the game. But it's also a game that experienced gamers can have a lot of fun with, just because there's a lot of strategy. So it's a game that's really easy to learn how to play. it's really hard to get good at that game, but it takes a lot of practice. Number 12 is another family weight game that has a pretty decent sized box with really cute art, and that is Flamecraft. Flamecraft is a game that I played for the first time this year, and I've had a lot of success with teaching this game and playing this game. I thought when I saw this game that this would be like a medium weight sort of game with some cute artwork, but no, it was pretty easy to understand and played in about 60-75 minutes, so it's a respectable amount of time for a game, and I definitely enjoy all the resource management of this game, as well as all the cute little characters and little puns in this game are really adorable. Flamecraft, definitely check this out if you can find a copy. I know for a while there they had a good size retail release, but then now I feel like it's a little harder to find a copy of this. And number 11. Number 11 is definitely an intro game. Introductory family weight welcoming game. It's one that I've had the most success teaching of any introductory game, aside from possibly one other game. This is one of my go-tos for introductory games, and that is Carcassonne. I'm going to go with the winter edition here just because I really enjoy the snow tiles, the winter tiles, all that. And so that is really awesome. I wish that this version is more widely available. It was out of print. I had to seek it out secondhand, but it's definitely worth it if you can find a copy of this version of it. I just think that this version looks so nice. In Carcassonne, you are building up roads, building up cities, claiming them as your own, and trying to have the largest roads, cities, and building up monasteries and such, and trying to get the most amount of points when the stack ends. It's a game that is really, I guess, relaxing in a sense. It's a game that definitely you can have out and flip over tiles and just play casually while you're talking to people. I had a lot of success with newer gamers, people that have never played games before. It's a game that I've played with people that haven't played games, not really interested in games too much, but they really enjoyed playing this while socializing. That is Carcassonne Winter Edition. So that is my numbers 20 through 11. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.